Wow, we're live again. Here we are. We're winding down that last hour or two here, Western Wisconsin. We are having another conversation on a bench. We've had some pretty terrific conversations over the last almost 24 hours, and we are super blessed and super grateful. One of our last special guests is someone that I actually hold near and dear to my heart. He is not only a coworker, he's become a friend.
Yeah.
And we've actually been able to sit on certain committees and boards together, and it's kind of fun to watch that passion and love to serve others grow. But there's something very special about my friend Patrick, and he's going to tell you a little bit about his why. But we just want to encourage folks to come on down over the last hour here if you have something to share or something to say as we wind down our last 24 hours here on Conversations on the Bench, a nationwide effort that we've done with rescue missions across the nation, and I think there's a few across the world this time. So we're super grateful that we can stop and breathe and be together and be present to talk about why we even care to talk about those folks who are unhoused, homeless, addicted, have some significant mental health issues, but sometimes people think those precious folks are unapproachable. We're going to talk a little bit about that. So Patrick is one of our incredible team members inside of Hope Gospel Mission. Patrick, thank you for coming, first of all.
Oh, you're welcome.
We're so glad that you're here. But we kind of want to know, first of all, what is your role inside of Hope Gospel Mission? And I know you're going to be humble, so I'm going to retell folks because he's so humble. But tell us also how that connects with the residents and the people who we've just recently been able to serve. How does that tie into what you do?
Well, my role there is facility maintenance. I guess my technical term is manager, but I don't consider myself anything above anybody else. My role in what I do is basically make sure that the facilities, all of our facilities, are running. The air conditioner works in the summertime and the heat in the wintertime.
Yeah.
The toilets are all flushing and the showers run hot.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much my role. I cover all of the buildings in that area.
Yeah.
Another fellow of mine in our maintenance team, he and I try to make sure that everything is running as smoothly as we can.
Yes.
To keep everything working, to make life as most enjoyable for our staff, for our volunteers, and then of course for our residents. And it's a blessing being able to do what we're doing in our capacities, because we're able to interact with our residents.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that sometimes people don't think about, oh, well, everything just runs smoothly here. Isn't that great? But you don't really know that there are hiccups, there are issues, there are things that break down, especially in the hot days and the cold days.
That's right.
So, but I think it's neat for those opportunities that you get to run into the residents, and you may either journey with them, you may talk with them, you may show them how to fix something. You may give them a ride to an appointment across town, or even just to get them over to the school. We have opportunities throughout our time there to have touch points, right, with our residents, with people that we serve, and I think they're always watching, right? What do you think they're watching us for?
I think they're watching our walk.
Yeah.
How do we handle things? In my capacity, when I'm working on, let's say, an air conditioner, a resident comes to me and says, my air conditioner is not working, my room is hot. They're watching, especially in times where I can't get it to work right. How am I handling that stress situation? How am I handling life when I'm on a task and all of a sudden another task comes available that's more important, and I have to put one. Am I getting frustrated? Am I getting flustered? Am I going with the flow? And I think they really watch, how we handle things at our end, and I think that's what the residents do, and I really enjoy that aspect because it keeps me in check. First of all, you know, I have to make sure I'm on the down low, but at the same time, it gives me an opportunity to be able to witness, to minister, and to just be a friend with so many of the residents that we have come through the doors.
Yeah, that's beautiful. What do you think? Well, how did your yes begin? Why are you here inside of the doors, even though we're outside today?
Yeah.
Why are you here? What is your yes? Where did it begin?
Wow, that's a long story. It actually all started 8 years ago with volunteering.
Is that right?
I started volunteering. I was a mechanic and I worked at a shop, and I know our volunteer coordinator, Linda, she would bring her car in, and it was coming up to Thanksgiving 8 years ago. And I was single, and she says, well, if you ever have some extra time and want, we're looking for volunteers for our Thanksgiving dinner. So I went down to what was the old Hope Gospel building just up the street for a couple blocks from us here.
Yeah.
And in this tiny little itty bitty kitchen, me and one other person showed up to lend services, just to be a servant. I went in with a servant's heart of, whatever you have me to do, I'll do it. Well, I ended up mashing about 150 pounds of potatoes that night. But it was a beautiful time of fellowship and gathering with those who were doing the meal. And I fell in love with it after the meal. This was a prep day that I was there, and then we did the meal serving, and standing at the window looking out at the cafeteria where the people were eating their lunch, I was hooked. I just grasped onto it, and it's like, this is something that I just felt deep down that I had to be a part of. And that really grew. Linda became more affiliated and knowing of who I was and my history. I had a long history in carpentry and framing and construction. And they were doing a project. Our women with children's buildings were just getting rolling. And she said, how would you like to come and volunteer with them on Wednesday nights? So I went in on Wednesday nights and helped volunteer in organizing and running the evening crews that came in on Wednesday nights. And that blossomed into nightly. Then it worked into a part-time shift where I came on board part-time.
And I remember all of this now because I was like, Craig, it's time to get him here full-time. We had to fight to get you here because you have many callings and many talents. And we thought, well, Lord, you know when it's going to be time for him to come full-time, if at all.
Yeah.
And so that was beautiful. But I think it's great to be wanted so much. But you know what, Patrick? The people that we serve, they don't feel so wanted.
No.
And so I think sometimes we lose sight, and I don't mean you and I, just you and I mean just people in general. They lose sight of what that person might need that's in your space at that moment. And I think a lot of it boils down to the fact that a lot of times they don't feel heard. They don't know how to develop trust. They don't know who's that safe person that they might be able to have a conversation with that day. And I long to be that person if someone journeys with me. And I know, like you said earlier, they're always watching.
They're always watching.
Right? They're always watching, and they are looking for that safe person. And so while we teach them to be the best they can be with what the circumstances are that day, we never want to leave them that way, right?
That's right.
We always want to teach them to become the people that God created them to be. And so it's pretty exciting watching the growth inside of Hope Gospel Mission. And we're not just here today, as most of you know that have tuned in. It's not really about Hope Gospel Mission at all. It's about who are we going to journey with that's hurting, that is unhoused, that's homeless, that might be addicted, that might have a mental health issue. And I think bringing more conversations and bringing more awareness to our communities can only make our communities stronger. So that's our why today, right?
That is.
Yeah.
That is.
Patrick, do you have any last little bits of advice for anyone wanting to get involved in a ministry or mission like this?
You know, if there's anybody out there and they want to get involved, of course, I'm going to be biased and say Hope Gospel is always looking for volunteers. But just to be a part of the community is what I'd like to say is people, and you mentioned it earlier that, you know, a lot of the folks that are homeless walking the streets, for whatever the purpose might be, they just want to be heard. And as a Christian, you know, it's hard. You can't heal everybody. You can't fix everybody. You can't talk to everybody.
Right.
But at least to make that effort and to go out and to talk with somebody.
Yeah.
You know, let them know that, hey, there is somebody here that cares. Just as simple as in our daily life. People are always watching us. When we're at the grocery store and we're leaving, you know, are we looking the cashier in the eye and saying, thank you, have a blessed day? Or are we just brushing them off like it's your job, here's the money, and we go about our day?
Good examples, yeah.
You know, or...
It's that little glimmer.
It really is. It's that little bit. Our coworkers, you know, do you just walk past them in the hallway, or do you look at them in the eye and say, hey, how's it going? You know, whether it's you, Sandy.
Sandy's here.
You know, no, time to go to work.
Yeah.
No. You're right, and it doesn't matter if it's a homeless person or if it's a person in a business like you and I are in, what we're doing. We all want to be heard.
Yeah.
None of us want to be shunned. None of us wanted to be ignored. My wife and kids will tell you, if I ask a question, the last thing I ever want to hear is silence. I don't want to be ignored. Give me an answer.
Right.
But that's how it is with all people. We want to
Yeah.
be, we want to
Isn't
be
that
recognized.
true? It is. And we want to remind them who they are in Christ. Their beautiful
Yes.
Creator has created them for such a time as this. So
That's right.
we're excited to watch them become,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm so grateful that you stopped today.
Well, I'm so glad I could be
Folks,
here.
whoever's tuning in and whoever's listening online and you know where we are, you know what we're doing, and we're super excited. We saved one of our best guests for last.
Well, I don't know.
Patrick, he's amazing, and he's got a big servant's heart. So thank you to each and every person that has tuned in. We appreciate you more than words can say. We hope you have a beautiful, blessed afternoon.